Hello!
Hello! Oh, wow. Wow, that actually went live for once. Usually I have to... it's taken me by surprise. But the chat's good. So I'll have to open...
As always.
Welcome!
Welcome!
Well, no, actually, the one week that you weren't here, it actually worked for some reason.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But welcome to the F1 podcast. Reviewing the incredibly exciting
Hi, Liam. Hello,
Monaco
Craig.
GP. Hey, Liam. Hey, Craig. Hey, Liam. Hey, Craig. Can't really say it, Craig. Tara's on the door. Maybe I should sort her out, but you're tweeting.
Oh, God, there's so much stalling going on.
Hello,
Hello,
Jonty.
Oh, yeah, geez, Max. I just saw that tweet from Everything Racing Podcast. Max Mosley's died, so that's very sad news.
Sad news indeed.
Obviously, thoughts are with his friends and family at this very difficult time. Heisenberg, hello.
Hello. I'm going to leave you.
Right, we're stalling. I'm tweeting. Stephen's stalling. How's everyone? How is everyone over there? Salute! Bang. Hello, David, in chat as well.
I'm
Okay.
back.
Stephen's back. He's back.
You
can
don't
stall
want to be playing that 'cause the Wi-Fi.
The Moaning Yorkshireman. Good to see you.
Hello.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Nicola Carrara, didn't you expect a cheeky comment about Leclerc? Probably. Oh, that wasn't yours. Max has joined his dad to version of Benito Mussolini. Absolutely. Your turbo driver. How dare you? How dare you? Just watch Pep cry when talking about Aguero. I mean, wow. I mean,
Jeez.
He's been a legend for Man City, to be fair.
Yeah.
Aguero has been a legend. I mean, this is a good start for Monaco GP. Haven't tweeted, and we're already talking about
just tweet.
Else.
Focus on the tweet.
I can't.
I haven't read anything.
I'm just trying. It says hi, guys.
Has been there's a link. There's a link to the live stream, and that's it. It's all the tweets involved so far. But yeah, hope everyone is doing well. I'm back. I'm back to bring. I don't know. I can't really say to calm the madness. Breaking news: Jonty is now a bit of a Hamilton fan. What?
I've decided to go for the tweet going, hi guys, we are love. God, good job I did that. We are live.
Hey, Katie.
From Monaco GP review. There is every potential it will be more exciting than the race.
Whoa. Well, that's a tough one because I would easily put Monaco in my top 5 races this season.
Hey, this guy's back. This guy's back, and he's back with the jokes. Look at Get Out.
Sorry.
Get Out.
Bye. See you next week.
It's Mike Takeover again. He'll be back. But yes, breaking news. I'm now a bit of a Hamilton fan. Right, okay, let's get into Monaco. Let's get into the review.
Okay.
Are
we doing our usual teams? Run through the teams?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. I get the standings up because it just skips my mind, the actual finishing order. I was so hooked.
Yeah, there was just so much going on.
The whole order.
In fairness, the Moaning Yorkshireman has summed it up perfectly. This review can be summed up very quickly. Well done, Red Bull. Mercedes bottled it, and Ferrari just did Ferrari things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as always, we like to drag things out.
We got to drag it out.
Yeah, we got to drag it out. I mean, God.
We got to get that ad revenue.
We can't. Yeah, we're going to get people keep on coming in, just. Right, okay.
Okay. Let's start with the mighty Haas. And for the first time this season, Nikita Mazepin beat his teammate Mick Schumacher. All ready to say on that one?
And yep, that's it. Moving on from Haas.
Well, yeah, Haas. Well, they're doing a good job, a much better job at finishing races this year because they've only had the one DNF in Nikita Mazepin at Bahrain, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I think they're doing a very good job. I thought It'd be absolute reliability disaster.
I get where you're coming from in terms of comparators, but I wouldn't say finishing regularly at the back of the grid is, wow, what a very good job.
But they're finishing the race.
Yeah. They're getting valuable data.
They struggled to do that last year.
Well, okay, so there's improvement, but I wouldn't. The cameraman who made us miss the Vettel Gasly Hamilton should have been fired on the spot. Only good things he could do. I mean, that was a shocker, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But you can't say they're doing very good when they're consistently finishing last.
Relatively speaking, they're doing okay.
Okay. Right. Relatively speaking is a better one.
So let's go on to Williams. Russell 14th, Latifi 15th.
They're doing very well.
Okay. Yeah, they've both finished, and
you've been destroyed.
What?
Didn't beat him. Fuel surge problems for Mick, so allowed Nikita through, and then wasn't allowed to re-overtake at the end. Mick lost 30 seconds with the issue.
Well, running order, Nikita beat Mick. Okay, fair enough.
Seems fair.
I did see Mick was running ahead.
Thank you for bringing that.
I didn't see it at the end. But yeah, he had a fuel issue. Okay, whatever. Williams 14th, 15th. There was only one hook I had onto Haas, and it was Mazepin beating Mick. I'm sorry if it technically is right. So I'm going with my line. Williams, 14th, 15th. Anything to say on them? They both survived. Okay, good job. On to let's go Alpine. Alonso. What did they do? Alonso was one of the send him out, keep him out, hope for a safety car.
Yeah, they've done that quite a lot this season for Alonso, haven't they?
Qualifying, he got knocked out in Q1.
He seems to be the one on the alternate strategy, just because Ocon's been qualifying really well.
Exactly.
So
if you qualify at the back, you have to go bold.
Yeah.
So
got knocked out in Q1, didn't he?
But another points finish for Alpine, which we thought were far and few between, but they've got 3 in a row now.
Yeah, so well done, Esteban Ocon.
Yeah, solid 2 points for the team.
Continues to, solidly impress.
Yes, although I bet Aston Martin have overtaken them in the standards.
Sim's gone. He's gone rogue. He wants the... Yeah. They have, yes.
Gutted.
Gutted? Gutted? Why are you gutted?
Well, because Aston... Okay, sorry. I hate Alpine, and I'm glad Aston Martin are beating it.
Okay, right.
AlphaTauri,
we've missed out
Esteban
Ocon. There.
We didn't mention anything about Esteban Ocon.
Well, okay, look, he's qualified decent again. I don't think the car was there pace-wise to get into Q3, but he's managed to get a points finish. He started behind Giovinazzi, and he managed to overtake. Obviously, benefited from Charles Leclerc's issue at the start. We'll come on to that. But just did what he did. There wasn't really any overtakes on the thing. He made his strategy work in terms of getting ahead of Giovinazzi in the pit stop phase. Finished P9.
Yeah.
Good race.
Bam. Let's talk about... I know you said AlphaTauri, but Gasly did well. So I'll go to Alfa Romeo next. Kimi, P11, Gio, P10. They're going along quite nicely together, hand in hand.
Well, I think now is the time to bring it up. All those Giovinazzi haters out there. Hey? What a qualifying from Giovinazzi to get into Q3.
Here we go.
Hey? The Italian Jesus.
Just let him go for a bit.
Italian Jesus. He's proving that he is worthy of a seat in Formula One. All these people doubt him, never taking the car into account. Giovinazzi is a good driver. Okay, and you know what? His qualifying has been very impressive this year. I believe he's pretty much out-qualified Kimi in every race.
Probably about that. Sounds about right.
He's definitely done it in the majority of races, and he did a very good performance to finish in the points again.
Yeah, getting the last point.
Yeah.
Is that Alfa Romeo's first point? No, surely not.
No, because I'm pretty sure Gio scored a points. Kimi would have got more points, wouldn't he? He would have been on 2 points if he hadn't got that penalty.
No, that is Alfa Romeo's first ever point.
Oh. Well, in that case, congratulations, Giovinazzi. First ever point in history. Pretty sure they've won a Drivers' Championship. Well, that's because there wasn't a Constructors' Championship back then. Honestly, they would have picked up some in the 80s. Gio was picked by 7% of fantasy teams. A good gamble. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you got
it's just a shame that my gamble on Lewis Hamilton didn't pay off just as well. More to come, though. Yeah, I think Alfa Romeo have got more to come this season. He will hold the flag at the next Olympics. Giovinazzi! Gio! Look, I think the guy gets a lot of flack. He just gets written off, and he's the seat that everyone wants to boot out. They go, get rid of Giovinazzi, he's not very good. And I think, he's doing a good job for the car that is beneath him. I mean, It's not like he's going to be competing for top 5 finishes because that Alfa Romeo just isn't that car.
Yeah.
So he's doing a good job. And I think he deserves his little shout out. And this time.
There we go.
You know who I'm really disappointed isn't in chat? Infinite.
Oh.
This is the time. This is the time that me and Infinite could have been having some Giovinazzi chat, but no. He's abandoned us. That's it, Alfa Romeo. I took over Alfa Romeo.
Excellent.
Kimi?
No, yeah. I was happy for you to take over Alfa Romeo. Yeah. Good. Let's go to AlphaTauri now because they did better than Aston. Yuki Tsunoda, a disappointing P16. They were like Alonso. He got knocked out Q1. And then like Alonso, they went long, hoped for a safety car, never got a safety car, finished behind the Williams. So another disappointing weekend, I think, is fair to say for Yuki.
Yeah,
but it all starts in qualifying, and it's a rookie around Monaco. You got to give him some leeway.
Do you? He's all right. Look, Yuki, after the initial hype, I think is just proving that he's taking time to adapt to the series.
Yeah.
I wouldn't write him off, but it also shows, when people were going, Yuki would be up there. For everything, but Gasly was clearly the better driver, and Gasly is doing exactly what I thought he would.
Yes, P6 in the end. I was going to say held off Lewis Hamilton for the whole race, but we saw it was impossible to overtake around Monaco this year. So I'm not sure if that's much of an achievement. AlphaTauri covered off Lewis.
But lost out to Vettel and Perez.
Yes, yeah. Well, I guess they kind of covered off the Lewis undercut, which then opened them to the Checo Sebastian overcut. So you can't really criticize them too much. Kind of.
Well, they could have just been ballsy and gone, wow, Lewis is an idiot. He tried the undercut.
Yeah, but then if Gasly then got caught up behind... I know Gasly would have had clean air. Who knows? I don't think it was that disaster. They got 6th place, which is decent.
Look, it is not a disaster by any stretch of imagination. 6th is a good return for AlphaTauri. Yeah. Let's make no.
This is a really difficult race for you because we can't critique the drivers really at all.
No,
other than they survived. It's more talk about teams' race strategy and whatnot.
Essentially, yes. Do you want to turn the light on? I think it's a bit dark.
Okay. It looks okay there.
Yeah, but that's there. I'm talking about here. We're now a bit more lit up. Tsunoda, I was expecting him to be good by Spain, to be honest. I hope it comes soon for him. Yeah. I think it's just going to take time for Yuki, absolutely. Yuki is basically getting frustrated more and more with each weekend. Feels like he wants to be the next Gasly to live up to the hype, but it'll be... Yeah, but, he also... has to allow him time to settle. Gasly's now, compared to a lot of drivers on the grid, got quite a bit of experience under his belt.
Yeah.
So he certainly, shouldn't feel too bad about consistently finishing behind Gasly.
F1.
Absolutely. Yeah. Overcut works only in Monaco.
Yeah.
David. Who's up next? Is it Aston Martin?
So up next, yes, Aston Martin, Lance Stroll P8, and Sebastian Vettel, an impressive P5.
Stroll was the best one of the kind of go long overcuts, wasn't he?
Yeah, send him out, don't bring him back in, and he managed to get to P8 because he started P13, so he made up 5 positions from the 3 positions of the overcut.
Great weekend for Aston Martin, I would say, as a whole.
Yes,
very good weekend.
They both pulled off the impressive overcut, king around Monaco, because if you go long and you've got clean air, you can send it. Whereas if you, like Lewis, undercut, you get stuck in traffic.
Although Lance Stroll was doing his best to test whether F1 cars can also double up as aeroplanes.
Yes.
He was
Lance
flying
Stroll
over
was
chicanes.
actually part of the most exciting part of the race.
He was indeed.
Because we had Lewis trying to do the undercut, so he was absolutely bombing it. Gasly was trying to holding off Lewis. And then Sebastian Vettel was coming out the pit lane. He'd done the overcut. And then Lance Stroll was flying over a chicane. So it was pretty incredible. Pretty incredible moment with Lance Stroll.
It was so terrible.
He was involved in the best overtake of the race.
It was so terrible. But afterwards, that Vettel overtake being ballsy going up the hill towards the casino was a fantastic move and fantastic for Vettel to hold on. And Sebastian Vettel's best drive in
is he finally going to grips? Obviously, experience shows at Monaco. So you can kind of outperform where you usually are if you're good around Monaco, which I think Sebastian showed. But hopefully he can start consistently putting in these performances.
Yeah, look, Monaco and Seb go hand in hand. I believe he hasn't finished outside the top 5 in any race in his career at Monaco.
Jeez.
I mean, next year if Aston Martin don't get it right, it might be under threat. But yeah, incredible on that front. Let's just get some cuts on there. Vettel driver of the day from Diego Marquez.
I think that's a decent shot.
Bottas wheel is still stuck on the car. No! We'll get onto that.
Well, yeah. Well, okay, so.
Aston Martin did well. Stroll, clumsy P8, looked like he was going to be in the wall on a few occasions. Yeah, definitely. Steckleton, good to see you on chat. Vettel going a ring ding ding again just made me so happy. Seb is a driver who needs to find joy in the situation he is to push himself, I think, and it seems he's getting it back now. Absolutely, I would agree with that one 100%. Unpopular opinion, I thought the race was quite entertaining, better than on the Monacos. Explain that a little bit further. Be interesting to see. And we never saw the overtake live or replay because FOM kept cutting away. I know. Yeah. Unbelievable, was a shocker, but at least you got to see it post-race.
Yeah.
So, outside the excitement of it all, they've got to save their content for the week to come, haven't they? They're like, oh, geez, we've got to save that one for the content bank.
Yeah. Jesus.
Unbelievable. All right, that probably rounds off Aston Martin, doesn't it?
Yeah, big up Seb. But Lance Stroll impressive on the overcut. So we shall go to not Red Bull or Ferrari or actually, no. We go to Mercedes next because I was going to go McLaren, but Mercedes don't deserve to be spoken about in the last 3. Let's start with Valtteri Bottas. Qualified P3, although ended up being P2. Had a decent track position because he had the inside line to turn 1. But his gearway just wasn't quick enough. Couldn't beat Max to the turn 1. Sat behind him. Not classic Bottas. Out of nowhere, he was struggling with tyre wear. Completely out of character. We haven't seen that before from Valtteri Bottas. Dropped off under pressure from Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz probably would have made the overcut work on Bottas, dropping him to P3. But when Bottas came into the pits, they fluffed it.
This race could have been very good, and we'll come on to the Ferrari debacle that is Ferrari. All right. But this is exactly what is wrong with Bottas. This is exactly what is wrong with Bottas, because when you are sitting and relying on Bottas to compete for the lead, you might as well just pack it in then.
Yeah.
All right, because he just couldn't keep up with Max. Max drove brilliantly, to be fair. But, Bottas at least had he found a better balance than Lewis this weekend in a track that there. So we have to give him credit there, and he did qualify well. But, he just...
But why can't he manage the tyres? How many years has he been in F1? Surely after I don't even want to think how many years he's been in F1, and he struggles so much with tyre wear.
He just becomes too attached to them. He just becomes too attached to his tyres. So
treat them better. If he's attached to them, treat them better.
But they're in a toxic relationship. They both need to get rid of each other. But because the relationship isn't working and neither of them can admit to it, they end up stuck together. And still, to this moment right now, they are stuck together, I believe. I believe that tyre is still with Bottas. And they were like, you know what? It's better off to just leave.
Well, they literally have to take the car back to the Mercedes factory here in the UK to take the tyre off.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Valtteri Bottas. To be fair, okay, well, let's go. To be fair, Bottas looked so strong, was beating Hamilton basically all weekend, was pretty good in the race with a bit of struggle. And then, I would say, yeah, but he dropped off. I think the problem with Bottas is he had more chance of being under or overcut by Carlos Sainz than he did to over or undercutting Max Verstappen.
I'm pretty sure that Sainz would take P2 regardless of Bottas's pit lane shenanigans.
Yeah.
Pit stop shenanigans.
You got to feel for the guy. Whenever he can go and beat Hamilton, something goes wrong. In fact, I will give you that. Bottas does seem to have an extraordinary amount of things go wrong for him. And the team orders then compile on top of that. All right, so it is hard to keep coming back. But he also doesn't really tend to put him in the situations too often that you go, well, if that hadn't gone wrong for him, Bottas would be right up there. You feel he just maybe would have been slightly closer, but still behind in whatever.
I just don't think he had a good race. Even before the pit stop, I don't think he was having a good race.
Oh, dear.
He was close to Max at moments, but he was massively dropping off. I think he loses the position to Sainz.
Infinite's dropped in chat. He's missed the Geo level. Gutted. I'm absolutely gutted he's missed it. Right, okay, let's put Bottas aside. There was bad luck. We've had our tyre joke, but realistically, he wasn't there. But either was Merc, really. So maybe we can't be too critical of Bottas because the Merc car wasn't there. Because Hamilton qualified P7. In fairness, Charles Leclerc's crash might have changed it. Look, leave Bottas. Leave him. We bully him every week. Let's just leave him be with his tyre, okay? Let him go.
Okay.
Hamilton, P7.
Lewis Hamilton, P7, yeah.
Struggled, peed off by Mercedes strategy. In a rare occasion, Mercedes got it wrong this weekend. They should have overcut, but instead they tried to undercut.
Yeah.
They tried to go for one position where they could have maybe gained 2 or 3.
I was reading, though, it was so awkward that if they tried to do the overcut, Gasly could have stayed out and then they could have just been buggered both ways.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was a horrifically bad call from Mercedes.
No.
I don't think...
but it transpired that it looked a really bad call.
Yes. It all went wrong in qualifying, basically, for Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton's balance with the car.
And, the mistakes actually came from Lewis himself.
Yeah. He was bashing along the walls. Yeah,
he didn't have a clean lap in qualifying. He just, a very rare guy's got 100 pole positions, very rare off day in qualifying. Yeah. And you cannot have an off day in qualifying at Monaco. Yeah. Basically.
Well, I think Nico Rosberg was saying is if you start the practices at Monaco are actually very important because it's all confidence building. and Lewis's pace was just never there.
Well,
Whereas
I
Ferrari,
thought he was okay in Friday. I didn't think he was horrendous because, he was ahead of Ferrari, smashed it,
yeah,
but he was ahead of Max. And that's all he needed to be.
Yeah.
FP3 then came along and then qualifying itself. And he
was never there in Q1, Q2, or Q3. And just confident circuit, Monaco. And if you're lacking it, you're not going to get pole or anywhere near there. Anything more on Lewis?
No, Thursday, not Friday, correct. I always get confused because Monaco has its kind of bank holiday practice on a Thursday, doesn't it? I said Friday. My fault.
Wait, was that?
Oh, interesting. So this is the thing. And Lewis has received a lot of criticism for this.
For what?
Of how he was after the race and how he was on radio in terms of being very critical of the team, saying they've completely stuffed it up. And, a lot of people are saying it's all when they win as a team, blah, blah, blah. But when they lost, he was very quick to throw Mercedes under the bus.
Okay.
I think it's just a frustrated driver and people will look for any excuse to throw Lewis under the bus. Look, you can like him or not like him. He's a great driver. When things go wrong, understandably, drivers are peed off. I mean, Max in qualifying obviously wasn't at his team, but he had a massive swearing tirade at the fact that Charles Leclerc had binned it in the wall.
Yeah.
He was fuming. These drivers are competing at the highest level. They're ultra competitive people. When they go, they have to talk to the world press. And when they're peed off, they're going to say things that probably don't come out right.
Yeah.
They're not going to be the most calm, composed, going, oh, yeah, no. Well, it's the team thing. I had my mistakes, did through there. Obviously, as a team, Mercedes didn't get things right. What he said was right. I didn't think he was like, we do those things behind staff. He said, what can I learn from me? Not a lot. Okay. That probably wasn't like the best thing to go, but I'll be honest with you. The guy's got 100 pole positions and almost 100 race wins. Realistically, he isn't learning a lot at this stage.
Yeah.
But go from there.
I saw Infinite said Lewis asked to change his setup more towards Bottas, but Merck said no. Is that true?
Don't know.
It's crazy.
Can't wait till Baku next week to get F1 fans off their high horse defending Lewis to the hilt. The fact that Stroll was matching Hamilton's pace and at times gaining him had me scratching my head. Thumbs up for Stroll, though. Yeah.
Well, I think for Lewis, he just kind of gave up.
I think he just went in a vicious circle.
Yeah.
He was just so frustrated. He was irritated, and a rare occasion, he let things get the better of him.
Yeah, and he was just bringing the car home in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. He knew he wasn't going to gain, so he wasn't pushing. He was just like, 7.
Yeah.
I'll take 7th. It's not ideal. We'll go from there. Yeah, you can moan, but being overly critical of the team isn't great. I slate Sonoda in Spain and will continue to slate anyone who criticises the team in public. You don't do that. I absolutely agree with you, but F1 is a very cynical world. I think people are always playing off. They're getting very frustrated. Not one individual is better than the team. Absolutely not. Completely agree with you. And his comments aren't the best placed. I'm not going to say that, that was the best things he's saying. What I'm saying is people say things in the heat of the moment, and he'll regret those comments, I'm sure. He'll look back and, Lewis is very, he does take time to go and reflect on things from there. He'll look at that situation. He'll go, was that the best thing I could have said? No. Is it fair to criticize him? Fair enough to criticize him because they weren't the right things to say, but I wouldn't read too much into it. I think a lot of people are using it as a mentality thing for Lewis Hamilton, and it's just, I think it's looking for things that aren't there. Regardless, what we should say is that there's a championship battle on.
Yeah. For the first time in Max's career, We'll come on to that later in the podcast.
But later on,
McLaren. Are we good with Merck? We talked about them very early, but that's Merck done. Enough said. McLaren, Daniel Ricciardo, struggling again. Got knocked out in Q2, had a bad start, lost a couple of positions, ended the race in P12. Yeah, just another. He's still getting to grips with the car. If you're not confident with the car, you're not going to do well at Monaco. You're not going to qualify well. And then you're not going to finish well.
It's strange, really, isn't it? Daniel Ricciardo was probably the guy that we were probably saying was going to fit the best out of the new guys into the team.
Yeah.
But out of the new guys who settled into new teams, Daniel Ricciardo has been superb. Daniel Ricciardo has been really struggled. I don't know where superb came from. He's been really superb but underperforming and
that's the
lowering expectations. Oh my.
Yeah, 5 races in. Well, Monaco's a blip. If you're confident or not confident, it's what's the word? It's magnified at Monaco.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Ricciardo is still improving with that McLaren and how it's handling. But yes, Lando, as I saw Katie, Lando!
Anything with an O in.
Third podium? Am I getting that right?
I believe it's third podium, yeah.
Third podium, second podium this year. And it moves him up to, I shall double check, but I'm pretty sure,
Third in the
third
championship.
in the Drivers' Championship. 9 points ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Obviously, we're only 5 races in. It's a pretty pointless stat, but it actually just shows how impressive Lando has been in the first 5 races this year.
I think we've got to give credit to Lando Norris. He's just been nothing short of superb this season.
Yeah.
And that's superb in the right use of the word.
He's been superbly over-performing.
Well, I wouldn't say overperforming. Lando tends to start the season strong. The thing is with Norris now is he needs to keep this momentum going and make it a strong season. Because last year, he came out the blocks flying and then it tailed off towards the kind of mid to latter part of the season.
Yeah.
Great start for the Lando, but he needs to keep going to keep developing. And he secured that contract with McLaren to continue the partnership going, which is fantastic news for him and the team. And that Golf livery was amazing. I know we spoke about it last week, but it looked great. I know we still thought it looked very good on track, but I know a lot of people were a bit like, go for now. Ricciardo was terrible. I actually forgot he was in the race until he lapped down, but I know. I know. Norris has been on point ever since his P3 in Austria 2020. I wouldn't say that. I definitely wouldn't say that. I definitely say Norris dropped off mid to late season last year for sure, but he's picked it up again at the start of this time. Third time he has finished third too. 3s all round. It's the third.
Sorry?
Love how they did a video for his contract. Yeah, it was good. Very good, because it was like the F1 game. So that was very clever and very good social media presence from McLaren. That was impressive.
They do nail it.
From there.
But Lando, basically just superb performance, did what he needed to do.
Took advantage of the positions that retired in front of him.
Yeah. Solid P3 in the end. He did. His tyres were dropping off at the end and he kept his head down and finished despite the huge pressure from Checo Perez.
Yeah.
So he got a bit panicky, but then he collected himself and brought it home because he could have easily...
He got a bit panicky and then he went, oh, wait, where's he going to overtake me?
Well, because...
And then he's like, oh, relax.
Tyres are going, less grip. He's already had a black and white flag. So if he abuses track limits, he's lost the position. If he just bins it in a wall, he's obviously lost the position. And I don't think it's as easy as going, well, Monaco, you can't overtake. I think it was actually an incredibly strong end to the race.
Yeah, that was probably a bit harsh on Lando in there. But also, I think that would have reassured the nerves a little bit going,
yes, you can't overtake. But
he's going to have to take a big risk to get past me.
Just keep on the track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of his job, to keep it on the track. But it shouldn't be understated how good it is from there. So I guess next up is we come on to the Ferrari debacle.
Yes. Yeah.
Hello, Carola. Just missed the notification. Sorry, Carola. YouTube's rubbish with notifications recently, hasn't it? I think it's really touch and go whether people get notified or not.
You go with Leclerc.
Oh, dear. So Charles Leclerc, superb to put in a pole position lap. And then he's pushing, he's trying, because, there were a lot of guys. I think there were guys who were up on his time anyway. So he was needing to push. But Monaco, the margins are so fine. He's made a mistake. Okay, so that's not an issue in itself. I don't think Leclerc's mistake has cost him the drive. Ferrari are incompetent. Yes, it's not the gearbox. But when your car has been in a crash, and they said it was something non-crash related.
Well, no, I was just checking. I don't think it's actually been confirmed yet. But Binotto.
Well, they keep going. We're going to have to take it back to the factory and see, assess. But it feels like it was on the other side to the crash. Again, but surely it feels like there's little bits that was it the gearbox. There are rumors coming out that it was a part that they could have fixed without a penalty. So Charles could have kept the pole anyway.
I believe.
Yeah.
Well, because they were basically so focused on looking at the gearbox that they then forgot to check other parts of the car.
So incompetency.
Yes, because there was the focus is there was something wrong with the rear left drive shaft or something over there. Which could have been caused by the crash, even though the crash on the right hand side is where the energy distributes itself, which could have knocked something off completely away from the main impact zone. They just didn't check it.
Yeah, I think I cannot believe you are a top level F1 team and you do not, after a crash, check that everything is okay. Because that must have been so clear and obvious, the fact that it broke down on the way to the grid. It's not like it was an issue that over the course of the race and, durability caused Charles issues. Before just driving to the grid, not even at any sort of race pace, it broke. So it must have been clear and obvious to be able to see. And I cannot believe that they were that incompetent on a pole position. I Ferrari just baffles me, the amount of things that go wrong at that F1 team. Yeah, it baffles me how much.
It was their golden boy as well that they screwed up.
Absolutely. It just, they couldn't do anything. It was a drive shaft. Well, they must have been able to do something to the car.
Yeah, surely.
Prior to the night, they couldn't have. It couldn't have literally been. The car was broken. We couldn't do anything.
They had all evening and night and morning to fix the car.
Yeah, even under parc fermé conditions, there must have been something that would have been able to.
Well, yes, but you take a penalty, if anything.
Yeah. Harsh, but in fact, Leclerc is ultimate to blame. Well, absolutely, you can say that. If he doesn't crash, then there's probably not the issue for the car.
Yes, of course.
So, yeah, ultimately, the blame does lie with Charles Leclerc. But still, Monaco, there is a place where it's likely to have crashes. The second part is more concerning. Ferrari won't be as fast as back here. No straight line, slow, and it's speed traps. Yeah, That Ferrari, it was a real surprise, and it was a weekend that they could have capitalised and probably got a double podium.
Yeah.
But instead, a P2 for Carlos Sainz, who out of those new drivers is superb.
Yes.
Best. I think Carlos Sainz has been fantastic since being at Ferrari. He's pushed Charles. He's got the maximum for the team out as it goes along. They've worked really well as a team, and he secured the podium today. And he was the only one, actually. He challenged, I know he didn't, but he probably challenged Max more than what Bottas did.
No. I'm not taking that Sainz challenge for the lead.
No, he didn't challenge for the lead.
I've seen it. I think Sky Sports was spattering some stuff. Or it was F1 that was like Sainz challenged Matt. He didn't.
No, he didn't challenge him because he didn't get within like 3 seconds. I think the closest he got was 3 seconds.
Just below 3. But then he had to back off because of his tyres.
Yeah.
So
I also think Max could have pushed anyway. So I don't think it was challenging for the lead because the only way he would have been able to do it was whether he was close enough in the window. But what I mean is, theoretically, he probably would have got closer than what Valtteri did. I know Valtteri had the race lead. That's what I was trying to say more than anything, rather than a genuine challenge for the lead. Carola, Leclerc is really unlucky in Monaco. He definitely is.
Yeah.
Relax, Verstappen fan. He won the race. Absolutely. FIA are present while teams change or replace parts under part firmware conditions. Exactly. So they would have been, you change anything so long as it's like for like parts. Gearbox and engine always take a penalty, of course. Everything else like wishbones, drive shafts can be changed with that.
There we go.
There you go.
You had a whole night to do it. Yeah, maybe you have to stay up the whole night. Do an all-nighter, all the engineers. Bring some over. Probably you can't do that because of the COVID restrictions. I
mean, Ferrari have taken a battering the last couple of seasons, and they've been improving this year, certainly for sure. But realistically, with the amount of budget, the stature of Ferrari in the sport, what they're doing in fighting for P3 in the championship with McLaren is still not good enough.
Yeah.
But obviously, the leap they made from last year is still impressive on that aspect. But they could have really capitalised this weekend.
They could have won.
They could have won the race.
I could easily see Charles Leclerc winning this race.
Yeah. And I think that's where Monaco could have been such a fascinating race, because I think Leclerc versus Max would have been a brilliant battle. But we were robbed of that because Leclerc crashed and Ferrari stuffed it. 2-piece.
Yeah. So all credit to Carlos Sainz, no credit to the Ferrari mechanic engineer team, and poor Charles Leclerc. Condolences to Charles Leclerc. For his third Monaco, doesn't see the checkered flag. He don't even see
the lights go out in this one. Go from there. Yeah, Moaning Yorkshireman, they were up all night. Anyway, to focus on the gearbox. Absolutely. No, I get that the focus was on the gearbox. The big fear was gearbox. But that almost seemed to be like that was Sky Sports leading them up, going, oh, well, the gearbox might be an issue. And in terms of that, and, you know, everyone's going, oh, gearbox. And they're like, oh, well, maybe we should check the gearbox. Everyone's worried about the gearbox. We better clear that up. They're the Formula One team.
Surely you have time to check the whole car.
Surely. They've got so many mechanics in a Formula One team compared to other teams.
Surely you have time to check the whole car. Because not everyone can check the gearbox at the same time.
Well, I'll use an example here. Like in IndyCar at the weekend, qualifying, Alex Palou, after qualifying, he crashed on the Saturday and was still able to go out and compete on the Sunday after a 220-odd mile-an-hour crash.
The whole car was wrecked.
Yeah. Well, one side of the car was pretty much wrecked, you know? And they have far less mechanics and staff to be able to do that. And I just cannot justify it in any way, Ferrari making that slip up. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So that's Ferrari. Good job, Sainz. Unlucky Leclerc. On to the final one. Red Bull. Checo Perez. Best driver in the Red Bull this season?
Yes. Absolutely. Hands down. It was his best performance, yes.
Monaco suits Checo in a quick car because he can pull off the overcut so well. Because he can keep those tyres going for as long as he needs to get that gap.
Absolutely.
got the gap, jumped 3 cars, got P4, chasing down Norris at the end. I think I would have liked to see him put a bit more pressure on because he did let it drop at stages. If he was right on the back of Norris, maybe he would have forced a mistake. But it's Monaco. You can't really do much.
And as critical as we were of Red Bull in the strategy previous race at Spain, they got it spot on this week with Checo. Yeah. And Max, they didn't have any strategy to worry about. So, no, it was good. But they got it spot on to help in the constructors. And now, obviously, they have the constructors lead as well. So Perez.
Do they?
Did you? Sorry, I thought you said that.
Do they? I feel like they just. Oh, no, they do. They do by 1 point. Red Bull have the lead of the constructors.
Yeah, well, okay. I get you, Infinite, but Checo still has to pull off that strategy. You know, it's a bit like saying Lewis Hamilton. I don't know, probably not a good example to use Spain because he was quick anyway.
Yeah,
and probably would have overtaken Max regardless of the late pit stop. But look, no one was anywhere near in Monaco. Essentially, the pit stop key in nailing the strategy at Monaco was the job done, and he got the job done, what he needed to do.
Yeah.
I think he minimised the damage. His best race in a Red Bull for sure, but the qualifying again let him down.
Well, his best qualifying was Imola. Checo's not really a qualifier though.
No.
It's always the race pace
and that is what's hurting him and Red Bull. They got away with it a little bit today.
Yeah.
Because yesterday, because Mercedes were so bad.
Yes. There you go, Checo. But race winner, finally. I'm not wearing this shirt. I did have I had the shirt ready, but I'm not wearing it. It's Max Verstappen, race winner. Blitzed it, covered off aggressively. He nearly took out Bottas at the start, which would have not been the best. Aggressively cut Bottas off to turn 1, and then that was the race. Sent him long, looked after his tyres, meant Red Bull could do whatever they wanted with him. They tried to back Bottas up to make sure Bottas couldn't come out ahead of Lance Stroll. I think that's what they were trying to do, but then Bottas' tyres went anyway. So they didn't even need to back up Bottas. Didn't put a foot wrong. Smashed it. I struggle to go too much on the praise Max because it was
Infinite.
Race.
Behave, Nat winner Max Verstappen. Behave. The amount of Nat winning Lewis Hamilton wins that have been just dominating the race. Just applaud Max in this situation.
Race circumstances did fall into Max's hands quite a bit.
Absolutely.
You had the Leclerc retirement and Bottas was never challenging, but Bottas holding up signs also helped Leclerc. Max.
Is the race boring when Max wins, Stephen, or only applies to Lewis? Wait, where have we? We're not saying Monaco was a great race. I don't think it was a strong performance, and we always give credit to the driver when they're going it. The race is an issue because the F1 cars are rubbish, but we'll come on to that probably.
They're not rubbish. They're
rubbish. They're just rubbish. They're rubbish.
I mean, they're incredible machines.
I mean, they're incredible feats of engineering, absolutely, but they're rubbish. Because as a race car, they're rubbish.
Yes.
As a feat of mechanical engineering as a car, they're superb. But as a race car, they're awful. They're far too fragile. You always get me, Infinite. You always get me.
It was a boring race.
It's one of those ones that the championship needed it.
Yes.
If Max didn't win today and Lewis didn't have a bad race, I could see Lewis just storming off because that's just what Lewis does. So this, for whatever reason, worked against Lewis this weekend, and it brings things back to closer.
Yeah,
and Red Bull, after not capitalising in Bahrain, have been able to get a championship lead, which realistically, looking at the first 5 races, they should have.
They should have had with the Bahrain win.
Yeah.
Yes. But good drive for Max. Did what he had to. Driver of the day, as we've been through all the teams, your driver of the day.
Interesting. I saw obviously Vettel was given an early shout there. It's so difficult to judge on this one.
Okay.
Because, like you said earlier, there wasn't really any overtaking. It was just the strategy. I believe this one, the drivers still have to execute the strategy, but more emphasis was probably on the team pit wall side of things this race, I would say.
Okay. So your pit wall of the day.
but I'm going to back Sebastian Vettel. I think Vettel had a superb victory. Probably as good as for Aston Martin this season. For a car that hasn't really been competitive in the points this season, to get P5 and maintain his top 5 Monaco finish record, I thought was a superb drive for Sebastian Vettel.
Yep, I have to completely agree. Sebastian Vettel, very strong performance, and he maintains that incredible record of his top 5 finishes at Monaco. With a guy who's been struggling with that Aston Martin, great day. Great overcut. Other contenders, mentioned Checo. I can't really say either of the podium guys deserve driver of the day because they just did their job. They just benefited off race circumstances and did their job. So it's got to be Checo or Vettel for me, and I'm going with Sebastian Vettel.
Nice. Don't be salty, Infinite. Track position is driver of the day. Don't be salty. I said this to Stephen. I thought Gio was a candidate for driver of the day. Q3 appearance, and he maintained the points with the Alfa Romeo. I know he lost out to Alpine, but realistically, that Alpine should be ahead of the Alfa Romeo.
Fair enough.
So I think Gio was definitely a candidate from there, but Stroll outshined him. Stroll again, but that Aston Martin car, as Vettel said, it looked like it was a stronger car. I think
at the end of the day, Stroll's P8 and Sebastian's P5, so I can't really see Lance Stroll outshining Sebastian.
Gasly had a great drive as well, to be fair. Would you agree that Gio is probably the most underrated driver on the whole grid? I would 100% agree with that one. Most underrated driver in the grid. Because
probably.
How many people say that Giovinazzi, they say he's not deserving of a seat. They're like, get Callum Ilott in.
Yeah.
Kick Giovinazzi out.
He's in that Ferrari Academy seat that gets him a lot of haters.
Yeah, I think Gio, the reason why Gio's underrated is because he had 2 years out of the sport, and we saw with Ocon that it took time to thing, and Ocon's now improved in that year.
Yeah.
The first 6 months he had at Alfa Romeo was the best the Alfa Romeo car was in that adaptation period. And then since then, it's been pretty poor. It's got better this season, actually, a little bit more competitive with a chance of securing points. But, I mean, come on. Honestly, what more do you want for a guy? And it's the problem with Formula One, because there's such disparity in cars. If the car isn't great and competing for points regularly, you just say the guy doesn't deserve to be in F1.
Yeah.
You know, it's so difficult to judge any of the guys go from there. Gio's underrated because nobody ever sees him to rate him in the first place. Guys, what's up with Daniel? What is up with Daniel Ricciardo? I think he's just really struggling to adapt to the team.
Yeah.
He did struggle to adapt to Renault at first, but I think he is struggling more to adapt to the McLaren. But look, next year, I think Daniel Ricciardo is going to be fine.
Let's just remember, we're 5 races into at least a 20-race calendar.
Yeah, at least. Hello, Sam. Welcome to Driver of the Day, Scott Dixon. Yeah, Scotty Dixon.
Hey!
4th pole at Indy. Unbelievable. It's hard to get those in an Alpha, but he seemed to find his footing and he's doing well enough. I just wish we would see some data on his performance like we do with George. Yeah, it would be nice, but nobody really seems to care about Giovinazzi. And George Russell, I think everyone wants to see in a Merc seat, and so there's popular feel around him, and so that's where they're going to invest more stuff into.
Question: because Esteban Ocon's doing so well this year, do you think he'll pip George to the Mercedes seat?
I think he's got a chance. Like, no joking.
Toto Wolff is still Esteban Ocon's manager.
Yeah, no joking aside, Esteban Ocon is moving more back to that driver that we saw at Force India. And that Alpine car isn't great this year.
Yeah.
And he is still, the last 3 races, he scored points.
Yeah.
You know, so when the car has been able to score points, he scored points.
Scored points.
Maximizes the qualifying performance.
Beating Alonso.
Yeah, he is. You know, and he's doing a good job. And a lot of people, myself included, wrote off Ocon. I just thought Alonso was going to come in and wipe the floor with him. But Alonso is struggling to adapt to the car, and Esteban Ocon is doing a superb job. Did you even compete in any other racing series? Or... Yeah. I mean, for people who say Callum Ilott deserves a seat in F1, Giovinazzi got P2 in the championship in his rookie season as compared to his second season.
Discussion with
no, Sam, you definitely didn't. You were definitely someone who believed in Ocon. Ocon is discussion. Yeah, I mean, I think Toto said that it's down to him. If I was Ocon, I probably would stay at Alpine. I think there's a team with a French connection who would really build behind him there. Merck, I'm not sure. I don't know what the Merck future is going to look like with drivers post Lewis Hamilton. They could get a bit choppy changing.
Possibly, yeah.
Because they've had the luxury of having Lewis Hamilton. So they know one seat is just guaranteed. So when they decide they don't want Lewis Hamilton, more likely situation, Lewis Hamilton decides he doesn't want to do F1 anymore.
Yep.
That'll be the interesting one to see what happens with Mercedes.
Good day for Dutch racing with VK third in the fast night. Yeah, very impressive from Readers VK. You can check that out in our reaction to that, the Indy qualifying review tonight.
Absolutely, yeah, comes out 11 p.m. UK time tonight, and I think that means that's 6 p.m. Eastern time for American viewers.
Yeah, sorry, that Esteban Ocon was just a random thing because I saw Toto talking about it.
Right, so
yeah.
Overall, we should probably talk about Monaco.
Yes.
Right. So obviously a lot of people, there's always brought up, there's the people who go, Monaco produces boring races, so it should be removed from the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the other ones like me who go, Monaco is a great part of F1's history. It's such a historic track. Something about that just brings the allure of fans through multiple generations. The backdrop of an F1 race there is fantastic. And the cars are what are making the spectacle bad. It's F1, and you know, tracks aren't the issue. It's the cars that issue, because Spa last year, Spa is one of those races that everyone looks forward to. Everyone always says Spa is a great track. But that was a boring race last year.
Yeah.
It was a boring race. And it's because these cars are so difficult to go downforce. They're so huge that you can't, you know, get any sort of inside gaps. The Formula E race proved that in 2021, you can have great racing at Monaco.
I think the F2 races, I didn't see them, but I believe the F2 races were good.
Yeah,
well.
I think they were decent as well. Teo Pacher, I think, winning the feature race, I believe it was. But yeah, a lot of the older tracks don't produce the best races anymore. Suzuka, Hungary, and Monaco aren't great currently. The current cars are way too big. Absolutely. It is a massive car issue. You know, Monaco's brilliant qualifying, great history, and racing is a parade except for when it's raining. Yeah, absolutely.
The problem isn't the track, it's the cars.
Absolutely.
It's basically the overarching.
Spa has been boring for the past 4 years. Ferrari dominated. All right, Mercedes. The front straight is only 8 seconds long in F1. No chance at all. Look, yeah, I think F1 has that speed through the corners, which makes it difficult because... And they're so fragile, the cars. They are so... Any sort of damage to the car is like a slight knock. Guan Yu Zhao to Alpine confirmed. I'd still be very cautious to put Zhao in a Formula 1 car. But yeah, 23 racing season. You need a complete package to win a championship. Get rid of Monaco and you don't have any other circuit where all your focus on Saturday. Absolutely agree. Money Yorkshireman. It adds value to Saturday qualifying, and qualifying is a really interesting asset in itself. I mean, for those IndyCar fans in the weekend, the Indy 500 qualifying was last weekend. That's an event in itself. And, one track, the Fast 9, is just basically one shot to get the fastest average time over 4 laps. And, incredibly exciting, incredibly tense stuff. The bump days, everything through there. That is the best qualifying of the season. And that's what Monaco is to Formula One. It is the best qualifying of the season, hands down. Like, before Charles was going to bind it in the wall, how exciting was it? And maybe I did see, I think, the TF1 show with Elliot and I've forgotten the other name of the guy who was there. We're saying that there should be like a top 10 shootout for Monaco qualifying where each car has one shot to go out at complete clean track, like the Fast 9 did in IndyCar. And I think that would be brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go for now.
Yeah.
No, it's a track issue. Monaco, even in the V8 era, was boring. Only decent race in 2007. Even that race and Monaco is only there and rich and nostalgia. It's literally the cars. It literally is the cars. And also strategy is such a key part in the race.
Exactly. I actually was happy watching Monaco. I didn't think it was absolutely awful that it should be removed.
No, absolutely not.
Yes, there wasn't much happening at the start or end of the race, but I was happy watching it all. And there are a lot more other tracks on the calendar that I'd rather see go before Monaco.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd get rid of Sochi, you'd get rid of Catalonia,
Paul Ricard.
Those places. Paul Ricard, all ahead of Monaco. Yeah, and those are designated racetracks. Those are things. Abu Dhabi, technically, should be a thing. You'd get rid of that before Monaco. Despite the kind of backdrop in everything. And there, just because a racetrack should be good for racing, it doesn't necessarily mean that it works out. Portimao is the excuse I use. Portimao, everyone loved it in 2020, but it was a pretty poor race this year.
Yeah.
I just kind of completely switched off. I mean, we watched the Texas doubleheader, and they weren't great for IndyCar, because of there was an issue with the track. They basically had some compound on the track or leftovers of that compound that made it difficult to overtake on the corners.
Yeah.
That's not the point. But, that was far more entertaining than Portimao, both races. And, race 1 definitely was a bit of not a snooze fest, but a struggle for IndyCar.
It's the cars.
Absolutely.
It is the cars.
Portimao still had more overtakes. Yeah, but overtakes doesn't mean good racing. I don't. If you want racing that's just overtakes, then you're watching the wrong racing series. Tell me then, because Formula One isn't necessarily that. Tell me a better race finish at any racetrack in Formula One, like in the closeness of it, than Monaco 1992. It's up there easily in the top 5 finishes ever. I can't think of the top one, and that's what we're talking about. Simple aero, so the, cars can follow. That was so tense. Even I can go back and watch that race, even though I know that Mansell doesn't get past Senna, and it is still exciting every single time I watch it. Every single time, regardless.
There we go. We are firmly Monaco in and not Monaco out. We should have a referendum.
You're going back 29 years. Yeah, exactly.
Let's have a Formula One referendum
the race cars being
for Monaco in or Monaco out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look. Okay, well, look, I'm saying Formula E is in 2021. This year, there was a very good race at Monaco.
Yeah. Formula E, yeah.
So, there were literally overtakes coming out of the tunnel into the Nouvelle Chicane. There were stages where cars could overtake, they could get close to each other. F1 just needs to find a way of making their cars better. And the 2022 regs might be the difference because they said that they can follow. They might be the difference.
Maybe.
We've got to see.
You never know with F1 though.
Exactly. We got to see.
Monaco is a great track.
We got to see.
A great scenery as well.
It's the balance, isn't it? F1.
It's very picturesque.
F1 gets caught in the 22. It's not meant to be a great racing series. It's meant to be a great engineering series. And by engineering, you're trying to get the quickest and most complete race car. But that then also lends itself to not great racing.
Yes.
So it's a difficult one.
There we go.
So you didn't enjoy 2019 because that was close. Well, yeah, 2019 I enjoyed. Yeah, I thought that was a fantastic race as well.
Max and Lewis, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, good one for bringing it up, Infinite. The new regs won't do much around Monaco. The cars will still be 2 meters wide. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the main issue. They need to be smaller. I think they are making them more robust, and they definitely need to be less aerosensitive. I think those last 2 points definitely will be challenged in the new regs, but I don't think the cars are going to be smaller.
Aren't they slightly smaller though?
Exactly, yeah. You can't get rid of the triple cow, for sure. It's only just coming back into fashion. Simple facts is if you make cars the size how F1 do, you can't expect a good race at Monaco. I don't think you can expect good racing at many racetracks.
Yeah.
Because you can't go wheel to wheel through corners too much. You still can, but the margins for errors get smaller, and at the speeds that they are going, the risk of then touching each other and doing damage, and any slight damage to the flooring or wings means that there's an aero deficiency for the rest of the race. Means from there, if it's engineering, then F1 will not survive because the younger generation want to see cars that are fast on track with overtaking. And that's why I think they made the 2022 regs Infinite. That's why I think they've made them. I think that's their attempt. It won't be perfect straight off, but that's their attempt because they're making the car slower. Isn't it, from there? Because they've seen Formula E and go from there. They must be wary of IndyCar and Super Formula that do also have great racing in their series, you know, with smaller cars. So, yeah. And F1 2020, you can go wheel to wheel. Yeah, look, you can in the game. Absolutely, you can. But, that's a video game. It's slightly different to real life. Because if you make a mistake in a video game and crash into each other, you're going, oh no, I've ruined this race.
I've ruined my race.
Oh no, I've done it. If I do that in an F1 race, oh no, I've just cost £2 million in damages or whatever it costs to fix my car.
Well, it depends. If you crash in F1 2020, maybe you do cause £2 million worth of damage. Depends what that reaction gives you.
Yeah, virtually. I suppose I'll lose 2 million in Bitcoin or whatever as the virtual currency.
What? I was talking about like picking up your steering wheel, chucking it through a wall.
Well, I guess, yeah.
And through that wall, an explosion happens. And then you pick up your TV, you throw that through the window, and then an explosion happens. And then £2 million worth of damage because you crashed in F1 2020.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's go for it. Sam, what do you think about the idea of Monaco being a non-championship event, allow outside entries so others can get the triple crown and make a pre-quali to narrow down the grid?
But that's 500.
Could do.
Although it's still in championship, anyone can enter the 500.
Yeah, could do. Could do. Michael Schumacher costed 500,000 in damage, or I presume it's or Mick Schumacher cost it. On Monaco quali, the Q1 session should be one shot. Yeah, I think probably all of it should. I think if you're going to make it one shot, I think you've definitely got to make it the pole position one shot.
Yeah, Q3.
Not Q1.
No.
Because you're still going to get the predictable stuff in there. Get it spent. Right, okay. I think that's how long are we?
We've been going long.
We're going an hour and 8. Right, come on, let's go. You see, we've done well to drag out this Monaco GP review. See, the Money Auction, we told you we would drag this out. You gave literally a 2-minute, not even that, probably 30-second review, and we've got an hour and 8 minutes out of this. But yeah.
Dear God, make it end.
Technically, the 500 is an invitational. Yeah, I suppose so. Nominal times, it technically is, isn't it? Yeah, you're right. Are
we done?
I think we're done.
We're done. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Remember, Monaco is now done. We don't have to talk about that for a whole another year. We're on to Baku. which has a massive long straight, which should see some
DRS overtakes. I love them. Love them. It's so exciting racing when I see
Turn
people
1 could be
overtake
good.
under DRS.
Turn 1 could be good.
Could be chaos. Could be chaos.
We also have the castle section, which Leclerc will inevitably bin it in. And yeah, it'll be great.
We don't even have Kubica to bin it in.
Oh.
That's a shame.
Well, we still got Leclerc there, haven't we?
Yeah, we do. He can do it.
Smash a like, people. Yes. Smash that like button.
Smash it. Smash the likes.
Cause £2 million worth of damage by smashing that like button.
Brilliant. Oh, fantastic. Right. Yeah, that's a good point to end on. We'll be back tomorrow for F1 Fantasy. IndyCar fans, the IndyCar podcast rounding up qualifying will be out later today, 11 p.m. UK time and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we shall be, I think that's it. A Motorsport Manager tomorrow as well. Another IndyCar podcast late in the week.
Wait,
It's mainly
Manager
IndyCar
tomorrow?
I think.
Or was that Wednesday?
Oh, it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Sorry, stuff me. I've got it. You've got us over 3 days. We got it. Right, Ad. Dragging out. Like it, like the stream, please. Please like.
Take that bell!
Subscribe. No, but guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been a great chat in the comments regardless. Infinite, thank you for always making me bite at comments. And I never failed to disappoint. For you F1 fans, keep racing.